Hello everyone. So today we are going to create a JavaScript Web Framework. We are going to use Webpack as a bundler, and we are also going to use ES6 syntax to import and export our functions and objects and other ES6 goodies that we need to create the framework. Okay. The framework will, as it will be a web MVC framework or web framework. It will work like React or Angular, but it will be very simple and will not have that much of features, but it will be modular, so that we can extend our features in the future. Okay, so the basic strategy will be whenever there will be a URL entered in the browser navigation panel, we will search for the path in our router, and we will bring that specific controller for the path, and we will show the DOM HTML. Okay, so in order to do all this or put everything together, we will be using Webpack. So as you can see, I have a package.json file. Okay, so I'm going to start by adding Webpack. Okay, so let's start. Let's see the package.json. It has nothing, like no commands, no dependencies. Okay, so let's add Webpack as our dev dependency. Okay, so let's add it. npm install. Let me say dev, as it will be a dev development dependency. The package name is Webpack, and also we need Webpack CLI. Let's see if it installs without any problem or not. Okay. I'm going to pause the video for now. As you can see, the Webpack and Webpack CLI has been installed. Okay, so in order to get started with Webpack, we need to add a Webpack configuration file. Okay, so let's add a file to our project, webpack.config.js. Okay, so we'll use this configuration to bundle our project and build it. Okay, so let me tell you something about the Webpack. Webpack by default searches for a folder that is called source. So we are going to give all our we're going to create all our project files in the source folder. Okay, so let's create a source folder, src. Okay. Now Webpack will start by bundling the project from an entry point. So we need to specify a entry point JavaScript file. We're going to call it index.js. So let's create it, index.js. Okay, so let's start adding configurations to the Webpack so that you can compile our project. Okay, so let's start by using module.exports. The mode will be development. I'm not going to details of for the Webpack because you can have a separate tutorial for that, or there are several tutorials for Webpack. We're just going to concentrate on the framework that we're creating for the project. Okay, so the mode is development, and the entry file will be src/index.js. okay, now we need to specify the output folder where the build files will be located. Okay, so let's add property output, and in that we need to say the file name. I guess the file name, which will be the file name will be the entry point file name will be, you can give it any name. I can giving it main.bundle.js. This will be the compiled file. Okay, and the path where it will be located will be the distributed folder. Okay, so in order to include the path, I need to add constant path from the path package required path. Okay, so path will be underscore directory name slash, and the directory will be dist. Okay, now we have added our entry point file and the output, specified the output folder. Let's go and add a script to build our Webpack application. Okay, so let's call it build, which will in turn call Webpack command, which will eventually build our project. Okay, so let's go and build the application. In order to do that, we have to run the build command, npm run build, which we just added, so that we can see if it's correctly building or not. Okay, so we have a problem in the run build command. What it says is that path is not a function. Okay, I think I have added it incorrectly. Path.solve will be the function. Okay, so let's not build it again. Okay, great. You can see we have a distributed list folder, and in that we have a main bundle.js folder file. So it has built our index.js into this bundle file. Okay, so as you know, it is building building the project correctly. So we can now have an index page, HTML page, index HTML page. Obviously we need that to view the application in the browser. So let's add a index.html page in our source folder. Okay, so in order to bundle this index.html page with the application build files, we will be adding a Webpack plugin, which is called HTML Webpack plugin. Okay, so before that, I'm just adding some boilerplate code to the index.html file. Here you can see we have a body tag, and in this body tag, Webpack will automatically include the main bundle.js file or other entry points if we specify. So let's change the title to our title JS. I'm calling it JS MVC framework. Okay, so now we have to include that in the project, the index.html file. So before that I need to include the Webpack plugin in the packages. So to do that I'm going to let's create the terminal and write npm install --save/dev and html webpack plugin. Okay, and also we are going to add another plugin which is going to clear the dist folder before recompiling the project, because if we compiled once and then the previous file remains, and it will not clear the dist folder every time by default. So you need to clear it with the plugin. The plugin is called clean webpack plugin. Okay, so I'm adding that into the project. Let's see if it compiles, adds it or not correctly. Okay, it has added, I think so. Yeah, it has added correctly. Now let's add a property plugins to our Webpack configuration. In this plugin property we're going to add an array of plugins. First of all, we are going to include the HTML clean plugin. Okay, sorry, the clean Webpack plugin. So clean Webpack plugin to require clean Webpack plugin, and also need to add, we need to include the clean plugin like this. Okay, and the HTML Webpack plugin. Great. Now let's require it. Okay, let's include it in the plugins section. New clean Webpack plugin and new HTML Webpack plugin. Okay, so in that HTML Webpack plugin we need to add in, and we need to define which HTML file we want to include. So the file name will be, the template will be .src/index.html, and the file name, the output file name will be index.html. Okay, so let's save it and build our project again and see if it includes the HTML and the bundles together. npm run build. Okay, as you can see, it has included the HTML, index.html in our build dist folder, and also the main bundle, and with that also it has included the main bundle as the is a JavaScript in the HTML also. It compiles automatically. Okay. So as we have added, build the project, let's see some output. And to see the output, we need to add the Webpack dev server to see the live output of our project. So let's go and include that npm package. I'm going to type npm install save dev Webpack dev server. I think so. This is the package name, hopefully. Okay, installed it. Now let's go and add a script. You can call it to start dev. Okay. And the command will be webpack dev server --- open. Okay. So now let's go and run that command, npm command, and see if we can see some output in the browser. Okay. So npm run start dev. Let's see. Okay, so the project started in the Chrome automatically, but you can see is that the dev server is running on localhost 8080. So let's go to the browser, but I need to switch to browser first. Okay, so let's see localhost, but it is already there. Okay, as you can see, the title of the HTML page, JS framework, so it's working. And also if you see the source, we can see the main bundle, and it is also included correctly. So yeah, we have set up the project correctly. So let's go and write some code for the framework. Okay. So our main strategy will be, we'll have a router.js file where we are going to include all our routes. For this project, we are going to include only 2 routes, 2 or 3 routes maybe, to test the framework. And we are going to have the controllers, and we are going to add some core to our framework. So the core files that will be the framework files that will navigate to a specific path, and specific it will load specific controller, and it will load a specific view, the DOM, to the browser. Okay, so let's start by writing some controllers first. Okay, we can define the controller first. That will be much easy. So let's create a folder, controllers. Okay, now in the controllers folder, let's create a page for home page. we're going to call the controller home.js, and let's see, we will include another controller for contacts page. So contact.js. Okay, name it anything, or name your controller set your page name. Okay, so for home controller, let's say we're going to export the function. We'll create a function for this controller. Okay. So I'm going to write export default function, the function name home. Okay, and it will return an object. In that object we will have a property called view, which will be a function which will in turn load the DOM. Okay, return the DOM. So the view will be, for now I'm just going to add a h1 tag which says home page. Home page. Okay. Now we have our home page setup. Controller setting. Now we can go to our contacts page. I'm going to copy it and paste it and change it to contact page, and contact page to show the contact page header. Okay, we will be adding all our HTMLs into this here. Okay, so we will include it. We will extend this controllers later, but before that let's add a router file. Okay, so let's create a file named routes.js, and let's export a constant router. Okay, give a name. So as you can see, it is giving me an error. So I think I cannot export it like that. Let's say it is the constant. So in that constant we are going to give our path or different controllers objects, controller and path objects. So path will be, for home page it will be the root path. Okay, and for the contacts page it will be /contact. Okay, let's now export that constant, export default routes. Okay, now to add the controllers for a specific path, we are define the paths. We need to import home from controller /home, and for the contacts page. Okay, let me take a better look at the contact controller from controller contact. Okay, so now let's give it a property controller. You can give it anything. Controller. I'm giving it controller home, and for context controller we're going to give the contract controller function reference. Okay. Pardon me. So the routes file is ready. It is importing the controllers, and our controllers have the view to show in the DOM. Okay, so let's add the core files or core functionalities to our project, our web embassy framework project. Okay, so let's create a folder, call it core. Okay, in that folder let's create a file, name it, I don't know, I think I'll name it just embassy framework. You can name it anything. Okay, now we're going to create a class here. So let's create an export, obviously, class. Let's call it JS MVC framework, and let's get a constructor for this class. From this constructor we are going to get the routes. We're going to include the route in the index file, in route.js file, and we are going to inject that routes in this MVC framework class using constructor. Okay, so let's save that route somewhere else. Route, let's call it route list. Okay, and let's save it from the constructor. Route list to route. Okay, now let's just return this object. Okay, so we have the constructor in place. Now we are going to match the routes. So we are going to have a function to match the route. So I'm going to create a function match route, which will in turn take two routes. You can call it route 1 and another is route 2. Okay, and to check if there is a simple route checking, so not much you need to do right now, but when we are going to extend or add path variables, like there will be dynamic paths for like ID will change in the path, or names will change, in different type of path variables, dynamic path variables will be there. Then we can use regex to compare them, or we'll add different logic for that. For a simple task, we are going to just add simple logics for right now. Okay, so the route 1 matches the route 2, we are going to return true. Else return false. So this is going to match the routes. Now we're going to need to navigate. Someone needs some function, there need to be some function which we are going to use to navigate to different pages. Okay, so I'm going to call that navigate function. It will obviously take the URL, current URL that is in the browser navigation panel, and it will match that with the route list. Okay, so let's take it URL and I'm going to match it with the route list, and then for a specific route we'll call the specific controller function and get the view and show it in the DOM. Okay, so let's go through the route list. Route list for each route we're going to match the route. Okay, so this, if I'm going to check if the route is matching or not. So this dot match route. First one, let's say the route dot path, and the next one will be the URL, other route that we're going to match it with. Okay, so if it matches, we're going to do some code that will load the, write some code that will load the template, load DOM. Okay, so in order to load the DOM that is in the controller in the view section, in the HTML page we need to add a section where we're going to show our HTML. Okay, so let's call it a div, let's give it ID, let's call it application. Okay, so every time we change the route or change the URL, the specific controller view will be loaded in this div. Okay, so let's do it. Let's find the div first, document and get element by ID. The ID is application dot inner HTML will be, we need to find the controller first. So route has a parameter called controller, this one, and then the view. This is a function, obviously you can see this is a function. So controller dot, and in that controller we have a view function. So this will in turn return the view for HTML, this view function. Okay, so it will add the specific HTML for the specific path. Okay, so now let's add some code to bootstrap the application or initialize the application. Whenever it is being initialized, it will first check which page it needs to load, and then it will load that specific controller. Okay, so to do that, let's create a function init. In this function, let's call the navigate function. This navigate, and in that navigate function, what we're going to do, we're going to pass the current path in the browser, and to get the current path from the browser, we need to add or we can get it from window object. So it will be window dot location dot path name. Okay, so let's go and add our JSMBC framework, the core system, and the routes to our index entry point, so it will fetch every other files with it. Okay, and then build the project. So let's import the JSMBC framework first. JSMBC JSMBC framework and import what we call it, routes. Okay, routes from routes page. Okay, so let's create an object from the core application. We need to pass the routes as we have a constructor that takes the route, and then we need to call init. Okay, let's go and build our application, and let's see what. Okay, let me clear the terminal first. Let's run npm run build. Okay, the thing is, it has built the application, included everything. Let's see, let's start the dev server and let's test it. Okay, the dev server is running, and if we go to the browser, yeah, we can already see it has loaded the home page. Okay, so in order to navigate to the context page, we need to add a anchor tag here. So let's go and add an anchor tag to the home page. Okay, so the page, let's add let's wrap it in a paragraph. Let's give it an href / contact. Okay, so we have added an anchor link, but it will, by default, it will not work as a SPA or single page application like React or Angular to go to that page, but rather it will reload the page. So we need to call our navigate function, when we click this link, and our navigate function will navigate to the specific page and change the URL in the web browser navigation panel. Okay, so in order to do that, we cannot access our JSMVC framework class object directly, but we can bind it to the window object, and we can then access our navigate function from there to navigate to the specific page. Okay, so to do that, I will add window. Let's call that window property JSMVC framework, and this will be our JSMVC framework class object. Like this, and we'll just return it. So the JSMVC framework, this object is now bind to the window object, so we can directly call this object, this JSMVC framework object, from the window. Okay, by this name, JSMVC framework. But also, if we go to this page, home page, by default it will not, it will reload the page, so we need to stop it from propagating and use our navigation function. So now to do that, I will add onClick function. There we can, okay, so we call the window object from this name and this name, and the function that is navigate function to use, and we're going to navigate to /contacts, right? Contact. Okay, but also to stop propagation, the event propagation, we also need to send an event object with the function. We need to adjust this function to include the event object, and check if the event object is null or not, because this navigate function is also being called from the init function, so I'm going to pass null from this init function. So let's check if it's null as an object. If it's null, then we're going to stop the event propagation. Test is event.prevent default. Okay, and from this init function, we're going to send null. Okay, let's go and see the browser. Okay, as you can see, we have the context link. If you click it, you can see the URL down here. Okay, if I click it, let's see what happens. Oh, I can see the contact page. Okay, but the URL is not changed. In order to change the URL, we need to push the new URL to the browser location history. Okay, so in order to do that, let's go to the IDE first, and let's see. Let's go to VS Code first. We need to have a listener. Okay, So the listener will be on the center listener here in the init section. The listener will be on window, not on. Whenever we click the back or forward button in the navigation panel of the browser, the on pop state event is being fired. So let's add a function to it. Okay. And we need to pass the event, obviously, not third bracket, second bracket. Okay. So whenever we click any button or a backend button in the browser, we are going to navigate, obviously. So let's navigate to JS. What is the name? Put it there. Okay, JS MSC framework object, and then navigate. And it will be now. And the location of the window location path name. Okay, so now it will automatically navigate whenever we click the backward or forward button and load the specific route controller. Okay, also, and the onload function for this initial navigation. Okay, so we assured that the initial function is being called after the window load. Yes, go to the browser and let's check our function. It has already reloaded the page, so context page. You can see the context page, and we go back to home page, that is the root URL. You can see the home page. If we go to contact, you can see the URL has been changed to contact, and you can see the context page. Okay, and let's go back. You can see the home page. The URL is automatically changed to home page, and it is not also reloading the page, but rather working as a single page application. Okay, so I think we have created a basic framework which work as a single page application web framework, but currently it has very small functionalities, but we are going to extend these functionalities in the future. Let's add some data, some variable to our page. Is that let's call a variable let name, just to show that we can access the variable from the view section. Okay, so the name is like Joe home page, and you're going to access that home page. Hello, and you're going to use the A6 syntax to access that variable name. So if we go to our home page, okay, you can see Hello Joe. So we can access other variables from our home page. So yeah, this is just some basic functionalities, but in the future we are going to add subcomponents so that it behaves more like other SPA application framework like React or Angular. Okay, so that's it for now. I think this is the part 1. I will include the GitHub repository in the video link and in the description section, and you can take a look at the code. Okay, see you in the next video. Thank you. Bye bye.